From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good Tuesday morning. It's 5:30. Welcome to Montana This Morning. I'm Victoria Hill. Thank you so much for kicking off your day with us. And good morning to Miller, the man with the weather plan. What's going on today, Miller?
Well, we're in the wake of a cold front, so we are cooling down. It got warm yesterday. Felt pretty good. We got up to 70. Won't come close today. Some of us a good 25 degrees cooler as that front has passed through. We do have that area of low pressure down along the southern Wyoming border, giving us a chance of snow in the higher elevations. For us, we may actually get a little bit of rain here in the Magic City. It is cloudy out there, though. 43 right now at the airport. Feels like 38. Humidity at 68%. Winds out of the north at about 9 miles an hour. It's very, very humid out there in spots. In fact, southeast Montana, northeast Wyoming, actually may get a little bit of fog this morning. So keep that in mind to go along with the possibility of a few sprinkles and some cloud cover. Look at all the temperatures right now. This is where we stand in the 30s and 40s. Our highs today, not much warmer for most of us than where we are right now. We'll cool down just a bit and then warm up slightly, but temperatures well below where we were yesterday with the cloud cover and, of course, in the wake of that cold front. We'll go with a high today of 43 here in Billings. Look at all that cloud cover. Don't have it there, but there is a very slight chance we could see a few sprinkles all the way through about 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. A better chance we can hold on to that later this afternoon in Miles City and down to the southeast there. Miller's random number of the day. I've actually got some answers already coming in. It's on my Facebook page if you want to take a guess. It's 140. It has something to do with Americans and potatoes. And you can go to my Facebook page or shoot me an email if you want to take a guess. What do you think it is? Answer coming up in less than 30 minutes. Victoria.
And getting us started this Tuesday morning, following the death of former Secretary of State Colin Powell, his family said he was fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The 84-year-old died from coronavirus complications yesterday. This means he had a breakthrough infection. CBS's Elise Preston has more on who is at risk for these types of cases.
A breakthrough infection happens when someone who is fully vaccinated for COVID-19 is exposed and becomes infected.
On occasion, people who have underlying illnesses, who are older, who are immune compromised, can nonetheless, despite vaccines, get a serious infection.
84-year-old General Colin Powell had underlying conditions including Parkinson's disease and had been treated for multiple myeloma, which can severely compromise the immune system. Immunocompromised people may also not build the same levels of immunity after vaccination as healthy people. More than 189 million people in the U.S. have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. To date, the CDC has received reports of nearly 32,000 patients with breakthrough infections who were hospitalized or died. Since May, the CDC only collects data on severe breakthrough cases.
As we look at patients who are hospitalized, that's a good indicator of severity of infection. Over 90% of them continue to be people who are unvaccinated.
Dr. William Schaffner is an infectious diseases specialist at Vanderbilt University Medical Center.
The vaccines are not perfect, but they do provide an extraordinarily strong measure of protection. And then if we add on continuing wearing the masks, social distancing, we'll be protected even further.
Dr. Schaffner also says people at high risk for severe COVID should get their booster if eligible. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Powell's wife also had a breakthrough case of COVID-19, but responded to treatment with antibodies. The therapy is given to patients at high risk for severe infection in the first days after exposure. Montana's 2 senators each sent their condolences, with Senator Steve Daines saying Colin Powell will forever be remembered for his leadership and service to our country, both as a soldier fighting on the front lines and as an advisor to 4 presidents. Democratic Senator Jon Tester said General Colin Powell was a great American who devoted his life to serving our nation as both a soldier and a statesman. Governor Greg Gianforte has ordered all flags to be flown at half-staff in honor of General Powell. And among the many people who got to know Powell during his time of public service, former Wyoming Senator Alan Simpson remembers him well. Q2's Russ Riesinger caught up with Simpson over the phone.
He will be remembered as a true patriot. Not some of these phony ones that talk about it a good time.
That's how former longtime Wyoming Senator Alan Simpson remembers Colin Powell.
He was a true patriot, willing to lay down his life, and many times did for his country, and never disavowed the directions of the commander-in-chief.
Powell was a true trailblazer. After serving in Vietnam, he rose through the ranks to become head of the National Security Council under President Ronald Reagan, and then the first African American to hold the post of chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff under Bush Sr. The first Gulf War made him such a familiar face that there was speculation he would run for president himself, but his wife was against it. Simpson thinks he would have had a good chance of being elected.
But he was severely restrained by Alma. And these were times of real stress in America. What's new? And a black running for president in those times, she felt very concerned for his safety.
Powell would return to public service as the first African-American Secretary of State under President George W. Bush, and made the case for the second war against Iraq, which he would later admit was a blot on his record.
Saddam Hussein and his regime are concealing their efforts to produce more weapons of mass destruction.
When he was giving the testimony to the UN, that was most people were offended that he was sent there to say that there were weapons of mass destruction when there were none.
Do you think that tarnished his image?
Not really, because he came out and he said, if I'd known that, I never would have showed up.
Still, Powell earned respect from both Republicans and Democrats and will be remembered by many as a true American hero.
He gave the full measure of devotion to his country. And that's what a true military person will do. And he loved America.
In Billings, Russ Riesinger reporting for MTN News.
Thank you so much, Russ. Now, back at our nation's capital, the State Department announced it will investigate the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. The State Department's acting inspector general notified Congress of her intention to launch several oversight projects related to the Afghanistan withdrawal. The department will focus on the State Department's special immigrant visa program, Afghans processed for refugee admission into the U.S. and their resettlement. It will also investigate the emergency evacuation of the U.S. Embassy in Kabul to include evacuation of U.S. citizens and Afghan nationals. The first major college coach lost his job for refusing to get a COVID vaccination. Washington State fired head football coach Nick Rolovich and 4 assistants after they refused a state mandate for employees to get vaccinated. The deadline set by Washington Governor Jay Inslee was Monday. Rolovich applied for a religious exemption, which was denied. He was the highest paid state employee with a salary of more than $3 million per year. He was fired for cause, which means the university does not have to honor the rest of his contract that ran through 2025. New numbers show how risky it is to not be vaccinated against COVID-19. The CDC just released data showing the risk of death from the virus during the month of August. Researchers found the risk was 11 times higher for unvaccinated adults than for fully vaccinated people. Adults without the vaccine were 19 times more likely to end up in the hospital. In a separate report, the Kaiser Family Foundation found that COVID returned as the second leading cause of death in the U.S. in September. With the announcement of the reopening of the U.S.-Canada border next month, Montana businesses are counting down. But as MTN's Coulter Anstadt reports, not all businesses are expecting a big impact.
At Big Sky Foods in Cut Bank, owner Jim Ryder is mildly enthusiastic about the reopening of the U.S.'s northern border.
I'm not sure how much of a difference it's going to make for us personally in this building, but I'm excited for the fact that people can come down and visit and get some of the goods and services they were getting prior.
Goods like creamer.
Coconut, Coffee Mate coconut creamer is something that they can't get up there, so a gal comes down and she buys like 50 at a time.
Other businesses feel the same way. The owner of a retail business who didn't want to go on camera said he keeps Canadian currency at his register for Canadian customers, but the amount of money hasn't changed in 2 years. While the reopening of the border may not be a huge windfall for his business, he's glad the border is reopening. In Shelby,
this is kind of what we're known for. Because
Quilt with Class owner Bonnie Nickel is more enthusiastic.
Canadian business is 30% of my business.
Not only has she missed the profit, she's missed the people who provide it.
I keep in contact with some of them. They're friends out, some of them too. One gal emailed me about 6 months ago and said that maybe we should start considering a tunnel. She said it works on the southern border. Maybe it would work here.
In Cutbank, Colter Anstad, MTN News.
Thank you so much, Colter. Looking ahead this morning, nationwide, parents are struggling to find affordable childcare, while many daycare centers are having issues finding and retaining staff. In a new series on CBS Mornings, Childcare Crisis, reporter Meg Oliver spoke with 2 Montana daycare owners. One of them is Cindy Moats from Billings.
It's really hard to look at a parent and know that they don't have anywhere to take their kids, and they still have to go to work.
And you can catch the entire story on CBS Mornings just after 8:30 this morning.